You might be feeling a little stuck right now. You're not sure why or what's going on. You just know that you feel a lack of energy, maybe even a little flat. There's something about to change, but you don't feel like you're changing with it. You don't know what this is, but you know it's a struggle. Welcome to the Real Positive Change podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Freeman, and this is a place where art and wellness gently come together, a space where women can pause, breathe, and renew their souls. Here we talk about how artistic expression through creating, writing, and crafting becomes a powerful support for both the mind and the body. A simple practice I call Creative Reminders helps you slow your thoughts, calm your heart, and notice God's presence in your everyday life. So wherever you are today, driving, folding, laundry, or sitting with a cup of something warm, take a breath and let's begin. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Real Positive Change podcast. We are on episode 36, and I am so happy that you're here listening to this. When we go through different struggles in our life, and life has many, there's all kinds of ups and downs and different seasons that we experience. Have you ever noticed how quickly we judge ourselves when we're in the middle of that struggle? We tell ourselves we're doing life wrong. Something must be wrong here. We should be happier. We should be stronger. We should have figured this out by now. We just feel a little stuck. We're not sure what's going on. Or we move in the opposite direction and start blaming someone else. Thoughts come to our mind like, if only they had changed. If only life had been different. If only circumstances had worked out another way. When we're hurting, our mind naturally wants an explanation. It's looking for something. And that explanation can often look like blame. Blame points outward, as if it's someone else's fault or something else is causing it, where shame points inward. When I thought about this, the image that came to my mind was a tree swing. And you know how that swing goes from one end and then back to the other. That's the visual I want you to think about, because when we're going through different challenges, different struggles, we might have the tendency to either go towards the blame or to go towards the shame. But there is a third place we can stand, a place right in the middle, and that place is curiosity. In the middle, we still take ownership of our choices, but we stop making ourselves the problem. We set ourselves free, because there is nothing wrong with you. I want you to realize that. There's nothing wrong with you as a person. We're going through learning experiences. We might be in that season where children have grown and left the home, or maybe we've lost somebody that's passed, and we're feeling this lonely feeling. There's nothing wrong with feeling exhausted. There's nothing wrong with feeling disappointed. Nothing wrong with feeling afraid. Your feelings are not evidence that you are failing. They are simply little bits of information. And if you'll look at them in such a way, understand that they invite you to pay attention, to understand that there's a change just around the corner. Now, most of us have learned ways of thinking. We've learned throughout our life ways to react, to cope, to protect, maybe to please others, to achieve things that we want. We might have learned to withdraw from situations we're not comfortable with, or to try to control these situations so that we won't feel out of control. By doing any of these things, they have served us well. They have helped us as we've gone down this path of our life. The way you've been doing life has been very useful, and it has gotten you up to this point so far. It has protected you. It has helped you survive difficult seasons. So when you begin noticing patterns that no longer serve you, there is no need to attack yourself. And what I'm talking about by patterns that do not serve you, if you're starting to feel those feelings of like lack of energy, or you just kind of blah, you can't figure out what's going on, these are indicators that you are ready for a change, that your life has changed. There's nothing wrong going on here. You don't need to shame yourself. And you're not looking for another self-improvement project. You don't need another thing to add to your to-do list. The invitation is simply to become curious. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Ask, what story am I living from right now? That's a very different question, because now we are not looking for a problem. We're looking for understanding. I often think about it this way. I love the woman I have been up to now. She has carried me through difficult seasons, the sudden death of a daughter, the changes as children have grown and left the home, the experiences I've experienced as I've helped support other family members in their seasons and in their growth. She has shown up when things were hard. She has done the best she could with what she knew. But life is changing, and my season is changing. Therefore, my needs change. And eventually, we have to ask, what do I want to become now? Not because who I've been is wrong, but because life is inviting me into something new. And that's where fear often shows up. Have you ever noticed that? When you're kind of going through this shift and you're not sure, you need to, you're ready to go through you've been introduced actually to a new phase of life, but you start to feel this fear. You're not ready to let go of what's been familiar to you. You're not ready to let go of this version of you that has gotten you this far, that has worked very hard. She has protected you. She has developed habits and ways of thinking that have served you well. And letting go of that will create a great amount of fear. The challenge isn't becoming completely a different person. The challenge is letting go of the parts that no longer fit. It's just a little tweak in our thinking there. For some reason, we have this idea that we've got to make this major shift, this major change, and that's what creates the fear. But if we can switch our thinking and come to the understanding that no, it's just letting go of the parts that no longer fit. We're not letting go of all of her, just parts of her. And as we come to that understanding, we can start to observe. Observation is very important at this stage. Instead of saying, I'm doing this wrong, try saying something like, I see that I've done it this way in the past. I wonder what would happen if I tried something different. Do you feel the difference? One creates shame, and that shame being, gee, I did it wrong in the past. No, we didn't do it wrong. We did it the way we needed to do it in the past. The other statement, I wonder what would happen if I tried something different. It creates possibilities. One closes the door, the other opens it. So rather than becoming the judge of your life, become the observer of your life. I want to repeat that again. Instead of becoming the judge of your life, become the observer of your life. Become curious. Become the detective. I think about Sherlock Holmes. Begin gathering clues. Observe your thoughts and observe your reactions. Observe how you're feeling about things, and then ask yourself, what am I believing right now? What am I afraid might happen? What am I trying to protect? What need am I trying to meet? Because underneath every reaction is usually a story. And stories are discovered in layers. They're not discovered all at once. They're discovered layer by layer. And this is such a joyful journey, actually, if you'll look at it in such a way. Today I wanted to add a creative exercise that I think you might find helpful. I've titled it The House I've Been Living In. This isn't a project to finish. This is actually something that can be ongoing. And it's not a project that you need to do perfectly. This is an ongoing conversation with yourself. So begin with a journal page or just a straight piece of paper. You can use watercolor paper, you can use mixed media paper, you can use anything you have handy. What you're going to do is start by adding a layer. You can either tear paper up and glue it down. You could paint a little bit of a wash across the page. You could glue down tissue paper, maybe even old book pages. Anything you like. Once you've completed that and it's dried, then you're going to begin to draw several horizontal lines across the page. Now, these are not straight horizontal lines. Draw them like they were hills going up and down, up and down, up and down. And then with the next line below, repeat the same thing, giving yourself space in between so that you can draw or you can sketch little images and objects in between each line. Once you've completed that, choose one line, and that's where you're going to start. Somewhere along that line, which we're going to call it the path, draw a simple house. Nothing fancy, just a straight, plain rectangle with a roof, a door, and a few windows. This house represents the person you have been up till now, the house you've been living in. And around the house, write words that describe who you've been. Have you been a caretaker? Have you been strong, responsible, independent? Are you a people pleaser? Have you at times been a helper, a provider? Are you a creative? Are you an individual that feels anxious? Are you organized? Whatever feels true for you, write it down. And as you look at the house, remember, this is not a house to criticize. This is a house to honor. This house has gotten you to this point. It has served a purpose. It has provided a shelter. It has protected you through all kinds of situations. Now, once you've finished that, continue to draw little images down and around your path, all along your path, like little trees. So you can do sticks with little circles at the top. If you feel more artistic, create the trunk and the leaves. Just freehand lots of different trees. Tall trees, short trees, skinny trees, crooked trees, strong trees. Place them all along your rolling hills, these lines that you just drew. This line that you just drew. As you draw each tree, simply pause. Take a breath. Breathe in. Listen. Notice what thought or memory or feeling or word comes to your mind. Then write it beside that tree. Don't overthink it. One word is enough. If you don't come up with a word, then draw another tree. You can write a phrase. You can write a question. Maybe a tree says just fear. Maybe another says lonely. Maybe another says loved. Maybe one says tired of carrying everything. It could say, what do I want now? There is no right answer. You're simply putting down the first thought that comes in your mind as you're creating that tree. The tree simply becomes markers along the path. Moments of awareness, moments of observation, moments of pause. Here's the important part. You do not need to finish this page. In fact, I hope you don't. Leave room. Come back to it tomorrow. Come back to it in a few days. Add another tree. Add another word and maybe work on another path or another layer to it. Because the story isn't discovered all at once. The story reveals itself slowly. Just like life, one layer at a time, one tree at a time, one question at a time. And as you walk along this creative path, notice that you are no longer standing in the boxing ring of shame and blame. You are standing simply in curiosity. Give yourself compassion. Give yourself grace. And from that place, you can begin creating the next version of yourself. You can ask yourself, what is it in this new season that I want to be? How do I want to feel? How do I want to respond in situations? What would I like to create inside of myself? Not because there's something wrong with you, but because within you, there is still more of you waiting to be discovered. If you think to yourself, I want to be a person that feels more joy in life, well then think, what would that look like? How would I respond in situations? What would I do on a daily basis? Just simple little things. Just allow your mind to sit and ponder these. And as you give yourself a moment to draw and to play in the color and express some of your thoughts and feelings, you can ask yourself, as if you're looking through another window in the house, what am I needing at this moment? Is it approval? Then give it to yourself. Is it feelings of safety? Is it a feeling of being a little more in control? Well, you can control what you feel inside and how you think and how you react. But you can also remind yourself that you have no control on the things outside of you and the people around you. And you can learn to let go of that. Is it a feeling of more belonging? Well, then it might be that you put yourself into situations where you can contribute and serve and add to others' lives. Is it a feeling of more love? Then that's a perfect opportunity to start looking at all the wonderful gifts and things that God has given to you and to love yourself for them, to appreciate what it is that you bring into this world. In closing, I want to leave you with this thought. Art gives us a place to observe our story without having to defend it. It calms our nerves and allows the deeper changes to happen. So this week, pull out some paper, get out your pen, some colors, and give yourself time to create and be with yourself, enjoying the process of making art. If today's episode encouraged you, share it with a friend. You can also visit me at realpositivechange.com for creative reminders, journaling prompts, and simple practices to carry you into your week. Until next time, take a small moment to create, to notice, and to begin again.